Hey guys, it's Dustin. Today I want to talk about Othello, or as the Elizabethans would have seen it, "O to hell, O." All right, they had a much more varied understanding of how words fit together. So they would have seen the name and they would have been like, "Ooh, this is about somebody getting dragged down to hell." Since they were a literary culture, they could see in words as much as we might see in like a digital advertisement or something. Anyway, to be honest, this wasn't. I mean, I read it in 10th grade, but it wasn't. And I read it subsequently in college and stuff. But it wasn't one of my like big ones that I studied the most. And for some reason, and this is a me problem. It wasn't as straightforward to me as some of the other great tragedies. So of course, there's four great tragedies. I forget the guy who like formally identified them. Is Macbeth, Othello, Hamlet, and King Lear. Now, Othello is the only one that's not about royalty, and it's a family drama. It's the tragedy of a family, and so for some reason that just either that didn't impress me, or because I mean I wanted ideas like, oh, the histories and the tragedies, which I still love those. I mean, as you can see behind me, bad graphics notwithstanding. Um, but I have reread Othello over the years and learned more about it. And it wasn't until I actually listened to this Great Courses series by Professor Peter Saccio. I hope I'm saying his name right. On Shakespeare's comedies, histories, and tragedies, that he actually has a really good a kind of touchstone for understanding the structure of this play, and he says that it's a tragedy built on top of a comedy. Now us look at that idea. The idea that the first three chapters, it follows the structure of a comedy. It looks like Much Ado About Nothing or Midsummer Night's Dream or something. Let's see. You have um, a girl who's gotten married to a guy that her dad doesn't want her to marry. You have and that marriage has kind of changed some stagnance going on. There's elements of like a general gets married, right? That's something similar to Much Ado About Nothing. They come back from battle, and what are you going to do? You're gonna fall in love. Although there's issues with that one. That course of love doesn't run smoothly. But uh, it has a mind at this for the first three acts. It has a minor villain, I mean Iago. I mean, it's odd to call him a minor villain because we know what he becomes. But I mean, he really just kind of gets in the way. He kind of puts roadblocks to Othello and Desdemona's affection. I mean, he tries to, as he says to Rodrigo, he tries to serve his turn upon him. And it has a court scene. I mean, this is kind of a comic moment. They're getting ready for a war council. Brabantio, of course, is not even summoned for it. They're just like, oh yeah, you should probably go to it too. But he kind of takes over this summons of Othello, not to discuss what they're going to do in Cyprus, but to have a trial about the marriage between Desdemona and Othello, and it becomes a kind of a court scene in which Desdemona really like kind of stands up for her man. All right, that's an element of Shakespeare's comedies, the girl being the smartest person in the exchange in many ways. Um, but and then they get to where they're going. Oh yeah, the ending of that scene is the beneficent, or the prince blesses the authority, blesses the marriage in spite of the father. Right, that's something that we see in the other comedies, thus mitigating any of the possible roadblocks and sabotages of the bad of Iago, and also the idea of Iago having kind of a henchman that he both uses and distances himself from. I mean, we can see that in Don John and his guys in Much Ado About Nothing. Um, and then they get to Cyprus, and an act of the weather, which Shakespeare actually like kind of imports from other events in history, um, kind of deals with the problem. So they now have a honeymoon vacation spot in Cyprus. Uh, so that's a comedy that follows the structure of it, and it wasn't until I heard the professor, which I'll link that the Great Courses series to the video. It's a really great, very good resource as a kind of both for a starting point with several of Shakespeare's plays, and for deeper. Like I've been studying some of them for years, and I learned a lot from it. And it just, I mean, so anyway, that really has helped me as I'm now as I have been teaching this play for the last few years. It also gives a couple of great perspectives on Iago. I mean, it's kind of unfortunately kind of a cliche that we don't know why Iago does the things that he does. Okay, yeah, well that's true, but that doesn't mean we can't discern some of it. And he gives several readings as diverse as bringing in the English, the York mystery or the morality plays like Everyman and stuff, all the way up to like kind of repressed homosexuality, and which some people try to read that into every play. In this one, I think it's legitimate. It's a legitimate reading you can use in different ways, but anyway, but a lot of that stuff it doesn't come until the end of the until like midway through the third act. That actually makes this play much more, not only more which is easy to understand, but also much more engaging to me. The idea that Shakespeare is and this is he does this a lot in different other places. He takes the rules of comedy and tragedy, which he respects. I think I don't think he's um, just flippant about these kind of things. I think he uses them as structures and then it expands them and shows that there's more that you can do. And this one is particularly impactful because it's through comedy that we learn to love the characters. He sets up this family. We are rooting for Desdemona and Othello by the end of the third act, which makes the fall so much more tragic. The "Oh to hell, oh," the things that Iago plants in Othello's mind. The idea that there isn't the happy ever after that we get in a lot of the comedies. I mean, the comedies are generally mute on married life. It's all about the courtship and how stupid it makes us look, and it's getting there that's fun. But after, yeah, and this shows some of the not happily ever after, and it's quite impactful, I think, and seeing it in that way as a tragedy built on top of a comedy really opened my eyes to understanding some more about why Shakespeare does certain things in this play, as well as why to me it seemed kind of cut up in different ways. So anyway, I hope this is useful to you guys. I'll link the lecture series below for those who want to check it out. I mean, it's worth listening to. So, and of course, Othello is worth rereading. All of these are. So anyway, have a great day. See you the next time.